In this video, I'm going to talk about 5 habits that completely changed my life and how to implement them. I've gotten a lot of feedback throughout my life that I'm a creature of habit. I just do things automatically that people feel is impressive, but it doesn't need any brute force on my behalf. So I just do them. And normally it's hard to implement a specific habit over a long time, but at the end of it, when you make the habit challenging but realistic enough that if you stretch yourself, you're able to follow it through a longer period and not through like a week or 2 weeks, something that you can sustain over a year. And most likely you're going to be successful in implementing that habit in your life. And what happens when you have those kind of habits in your life, you know, it's just what you do. You don't have to think about it, you just do it, you just run on autopilot of all of these habits. And if you have some good habits, that can be the foundation of your life, because most of the things we do is on automatic when we don't have to think. And when you have habits that are productive for you in the future, and you do that every day, you're going to win in the long-term game. And so I want to talk about 5 big habits that I've done and how to implement them in your life. But the first habit is doing something extremely difficult at the start of your day. Always, for now 400 and something days, 430 days I think, the first thing I do is go into the ice bath. So I go on my balcony and I go into my ice bath. And the reason why I started to implement this habit was firstly like I don't want to do it, and then because I have this character in me that if I don't want to do it, sometimes I need to do it because I have to prove to myself that I'm going to do something although I don't want to do it. So I resist myself when I say I can't do something. And the reason why I implemented that is that I want to do something hard from the beginning of the day, because when you do something, and by the way, I never want to go to the ice bath when I wake up. When I wake up, the first thing I think is like, I'm not going to the ice bath today. But then I do it, and what happens when you do it is that 2 or 3 minutes in, or when I finish the ice bath, I feel a sense of accomplishment. I feel a sense of strength, because I started the day by doing something that I didn't want to do, but I still did it. And when that happens, because your day is going to be full of obstacles, and life is full of obstacles. And when you start your day with something hard, that your resilience or how determined you are, or perseverance, that will spiral into your day and into your life. So maybe you would have an obstacle in your work or in your relationships. And just by building that thing that if you are doing something hard, you're more likely to do hard things as the day progresses and as your life progresses. And I think that's really useful for your life. And that's the main reason why I do the ice bath. Like exclude all of the health and physical health and mental health benefits. But I do it because it makes the tasks that are in front of me that day way easier. Well, this doesn't have to be an ice bath. You could do it as a cold shower. You could do it by going and doing an exercise or a class. You could do it by covering your bed after and making your bed when you wake up. It could be something really small, but normally it's something that requires it's something that resists you from doing it, but it requires a little bit of strength to actually do it. Because when you make your bed, for example, you at least completed that task during that day. So if you had a shitty day, you come home and your bed is made up, and at least you did that. So you're stacking your day for wins, and you have 1 win before the day begins. And that's the reason why you should do something hard at the start of the day, because when you collect more win, you feel strong, you're going to be more likely to tackle the challenges ahead, and your day will just be better. That's the first one. The second one is waking up early. I was not always an early riser. I rise now 6 a.m. during the summertime and 5 a.m. during the winter time. But when I was in my self-improvement journey and I was maybe sleeping in until 9, maybe I was still playing soccer, and I was just watching like 2 or 3 episodes during the evening, and I kind of was just waiting until I would fall asleep during the evening. And then I was like, wait a minute, if I just watch 1 episode instead of 3 or 4, or like I decrease the time for 3 or 4 hours where I'm doing literally nothing during the evening, and I go earlier to sleep, and then I wake up earlier, because I know when I wake up earlier I am productive in the morning, and mornings are my most productive time. And if I can get something done before the world is waking up, that's really, really powerful. So you can get a lot of stuff done when people are just waking up in your life. So let's say, for example, you wake up at 5, you squeeze in a workout and maybe do a little bit in your routine, and then you maybe work a little bit and the clock is maybe 8 and you've done more than people will do for the half of their day during that day. So it's just basically being smart of using your time, because time is so valuable and we all waste our time in a different way every day, and I want to minimize the time I'm wasting my time and use most of my time to something productive for myself in the future. So just the reason I started to wake up was to minimize that time where I was just engaging in distractions and building time for something that was building for my present self and my future self. And I think that's just a really simple productivity hack. Maybe the best one out there is to wake up early, and also just it feels amazing to be able and accomplish something when most people haven't even woken up. There is something that is empowering about that, and it helps you to become more productive, helps you to set your day up better. And yeah, so I would definitely recommend waking up early. The third one is called deep work. So I came a little bit addicted to deep work when I was writing my books. And I just had like my first book, and I had like 3 or 5 hours where I just was in the moment, just writing. And the reason why I wrote my first book in 2 months or 3 months was just that I treated deep work as a holy time for me. And Cal Newport writes about this in Deep Work, is that if you accomplish to get deep work for 2 or 3 hours per day, if you're a knowledge worker or you're just working on your most important tasks, you can be more productive than most people during their whole week. And if you get only those 2 or 3 hours to tackle your most important tasks, that is a really good day, and you can accomplish a lot of things. And that's one of the reasons why I managed to accomplish a lot of things, like doing the PhD, writing books, social media, and all of the stuff I'm doing. I'm able to do that and from the outset look really productive when I just got 2 or 3 hours or 4 hours of deep focused time, because most people attention span is so small. They are multitasking, they are in all directions and do not move forward in anything. But if you are laser focused in deep work on your most important tasks, then you'll be able to become more productive and be more successful and increase your skills faster, and it will be an asset towards your life. So how I do deep work is that I would schedule it for a time I'm most productive. So for me, this is morning. Now put on my calendar like 2 or 3 hours deep work, and I do protect that time as I was protecting my child. No meetings, no calls, no distractions. This is the time for deep work, and I'm gonna protect that because that's so important to me. That's the foundation of everything I'm doing, creating, building, etc. So you want to schedule that, and you don't want to book anything of it and make no excuses. And because it's so easy to move it, then you're like, oh, I'm gonna book a meeting there. Don't book it. That's your meeting. That's your meeting with yourself. So I do that, and then I normally put on some music, non-instrumental music, and I ask myself, what are the 3 most important things I need to accomplish or want to accomplish today? And then I start to focus on one thing of those. And that could be like research. It could be I need to read 20 research articles, or it was that I need to create a new course or a workbook. And then I just focus on that relentlessly. And it's really important that you don't have any distractions. So put your phone on, take off the notifications on your phone, be somewhere where you can like laser focus, go to the restroom, bathroom before you engage in deep work, and just try it out. Start with like 30 minutes and then increase it to 60 minutes and then 90 minutes. And then you can like build on top of that. But I would, whether it's 30 minutes, 60 minutes, 90 minutes, or 3 hours, just make that really consistent, because that's where you're gonna be most productive. And also just because you are experiencing the flow state, so it's going to be good for your mental health as well. The fourth habit is writing. And this is a surprising habit to many, because I think reading is fantastic, but we forget 75% of what we read 6 days after. It's called the forgetting curve. And what biggest mistake people do who read and want to increase their memory and understanding and remember things and being able to bring it out of your head from your memory is that they either read again or they just kind of forget it. But if they would write about what they read or write about what they learned during that day, and retrieving by not looking at what you're reading, but writing it from what you learned and maybe how you want to apply it in your life, and just going through that difficult process of trying to remember, that's the most helpful way to enhance your memory and to understand things. And the writing part comes with understanding, because when you're reading a book, it's more passive. You're reading the book. Writing is more active. So that's one form of writing that I do. I wake up and during my morning routine for at least 50 minutes, I write down what I learned from the day before. And what I learned could be from people, it could be from books, it could be from research articles, it could be about business, it could be about anything. But I give myself time to think about what I learned and then write it down. But sometimes I don't have anything that I was learning or don't remember anything. And sometimes I just write freely. I just write whatever comes to my mind, either what I'm trying to understand what I'm going through, or I'm expressing myself, or talking about my life as a whole, and I just start to write. And journaling, and that's kind of a journaling of like writing about my day or answering some difficult thoughts by writing. And that's going to help you increase your understanding of yourself, your experiences, your emotions, your thoughts, your behavior, and increase your self-awareness. And so sometimes it's just good to sit with a book like this and just allow yourself to write about whatever comes out. And you maybe think you don't have anything to write about, but you will surprise yourself if you just give yourself 10 minutes and you will start and you don't want to put the pen down. The reason I've written 2 books and I had the itch of writing so many more and thinking deeply about how to start my next one is that when I write, firstly it brings me into the flow state, and that relates to the deep work which I was talking about earlier, but it also helps me to clarify what is going on here. So we have so much knowledge here, but it's kind of a mess in our brain. And just like we go to our psychologist, clinical psychologist, or a coach, and we talk and we understand things and get perspectives, you can also get perspective by writing. And writing is the best way to think. It's really difficult just to think here in your mind, because you have to create like many different personas in your brain, and it's so hard to follow that through and in a way that you don't go with your thoughts just spiral somewhere. But writing, you're actually forced to sit down and articulate your thoughts. And what happens when you articulate the thoughts, not only your self-understanding increases, but you'll also be better able to communicate to other people. So if you write about your experiences or write about your stories, you will understand yourself, but you will also be able to help other people understand yourself. And if you write, you can think, and if you think, you can speak, and if you can speak, you can persuade people, you can lead people, you can manage people, you can influence people. And so that's a huge asset, not only for your memory and self-understanding, but also for the part of being able to communicate and articulate your thoughts and letting other people understand you, but also to inspire other people. So writing comes in many forms, like I said. It could be writing about what you learned from the past day. It could be like journaling about the day. It could be to ask yourself, what did I do well today at the end of the day? What did I not do so well, and how will I improve it tomorrow? It could be expressing your unconscious thoughts and just open the paper. And it could be writing a book. And I would highly recommend that if you have a book idea, just to start writing, because it's so therapeutic and it's so meaningful. And there's this one intervention I want to talk about called expressive writing, which was coined by research by James Pennebaker. And his studies have shown that expressive writing, so his intervention is that for 2 or 3 days in a row, for 15 to 20 minutes, you write about your most difficult, deep, emotional experience that you had in your life. And you do that for 15 or 20 minutes for 3 days. And when you have done this, the people that do that, after, like, it's distressing in the moment, and they normally feel some stress and pain in the moment, but looking at them at their health records down the road. They have fewer visits to the hospital, to the doctor. They have less anxiety, less depression, and more psychological well-being. So it's therapeutic to express yourself by writing. And the reason why I've sometimes used writing for my own personal life is that sometimes I don't have anybody to listen to me, but I can at least listen to myself. And I do that best with writing. So I would conduct writing for your memory. You'll be a great student or worker if you do that. And self-understanding, and to be able to communicate to other people. So I'm hoping that you'll implement some of these soon. The last one is reminding me of death. So every morning I close my eyes and I imagine for a brief second that I've lost everything. My family, friends, health, what I'm doing for work, my lifestyle I have. And the reason is just to remind myself of that, and then it normally brings a smile on my face because I realize that I have all of these things in my life and I don't have to lose them to appreciate them. And so I remind me of death to enhance my perspective on life and be more grateful for the things I have, because I know if I would lose all of that, I would realize how much more grateful I should have been for those elements when I had them. Also, reminding me myself that I will die one day helps me to be more courageous. Like, if you're taking a risk, like if one day you will die and this is a risk that is worthwhile of taking, that's just like, yeah, why not doing it? It makes me courageous because like, we're going to die, so why not just take the risks that you want to do and do the stuff that you want to do, because we have a limited time on this planet. And also, I have an hourglass on my arm and it's death at the bottom and me playing soccer here at the top. And it was reminding me that we have so much limited time on this earth and our life is so fast. And this hourglass is to remind myself, like, use your time wisely. The clock is ticking. Always use your time wisely to build yourself, build your relationship, do what you enjoy doing, do what the future self wants you to do the things that you're scared of, but knowing if you would develop the courage, they would have a positive impact on your life. So it reminds me to stay authentic, stay true to myself, to chase my dreams, to take risks. And then it gives me, like I said, with the meditation I do, like sometimes I'm able to remind myself like this, we're always doing things for the last time. So I'm taking this video for the last time, this particular video. And I could be in my brain of like, oh, I hope this video goes well, and I'm trying to rush through it and trying to articulate things well. Or I could like stop a little bit, appreciate that I'm doing this and it's fun, it's giving me meaning. I'm hoping that you take something positive out of it. So reminding yourself that you're doing everything for the last time. Like next time you are reading for your kids before you go to sleep, the next time you are going to the gym, or you're having a meal with your friends, or you are having a wonderful time with your family, like this is the last time you're going to experience those things. I know you will experience them maybe in some different way, but this particular moment is going to be your last time. And just by having that in the back of my mind, it makes me appreciate the present moment more and being more grateful for the people in my life, most importantly. But then, as I said earlier, it also reminds me to use my time and to be courageous of living the life I want to live and being authentic in what I do. And don't let fear stop me or doubt stop me, because at the end of the day, you know, we're all gonna die, and it makes me use my time more wisely and appreciate it at the same time, if it makes sense. So yeah, these are some of the 5 habits that I do, and I'm hopeful that you can implement some of this in your life or try them out. And they have not only made me more productive, but also, I would say, my life more meaningful. I'm stronger mentally, I'm stronger physically, I'm more successful as a consequence of these habits. And yeah, I think you should find some habits that you can put in, some of these or some else that you can put into practice over a long period of time. And these are the habits I've done for years, because they have the potential to improve your life to a great extent. But I hope you learned something new from my habits, and if you have any questions about them, just reach out. I'm all yours. But thank you for listening, and I'll see you back soon.